So my children are now adults. My children are all adults now, and I have this large family, and it's interesting the control, okay, maybe pretend control you have when they're young, and you can kind of guide and set rules, and it's just so interesting to have them be adults and making their own choices, and quite often doing things differently than maybe we did in our family growing up. And I have to take a deep breath, take a step back, and say nothing, because it's their lives and it's who they are. Now, my children happen to be married, all but my last one, but she'll be married soon. And she is, I shouldn't say that. Well, she's found a sweetheart. Let me put it that way. And they are all so different. They're so different than, they run their families differently than we did. They discipline differently than we did. And they all do it differently from each other, but they're all good. They're finding their way and they're finding what's right for them. And the whole purpose is to mesh two families together, figure out what's right for them and make it happen. And for Mama to keep her mouth shut. So that's hard for me, and I am learning how to do it, and I'm learning that it's fantastic the way they are learning from the ups and downs and maybe rights and wrongs that they do, just like I did. I learned to do so much better. Quite often I tell people, I had 8 children, and the first 4 I yelled and screamed, and then I finally calmed down, and I parented the second 4 much differently than I did the first 4. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what, if we could all have 8 children, we could learn on the guinea pigs and then do it right for the last 4. But my first 4 turned out, I'm sure I loved them enough through all that yelling. I'm just so sorry that I was a yeller. Wish I could have figured that out sooner. But I had Joe to counterbalance me, be the calm on the other side. So as I'm watching them do things different, I'm thinking about the ways I parented and how, yeah, I could have done this better. I was not perfect here. I did the best I could, but neither are they. They're not perfect, but they're doing the best they can, and they're making their own mistakes, and they'll learn from them just like I did. Now, I definitely pray for them a lot. It takes a while when I think through the prayers of all their names, because there's so many. But I just pray for them to love themselves through the ups and the downs, to realize that they're learning and gaining more wisdom as they're adults and growing and learning from what they're going through. They're all doing it their own way, and I pray for them to feel good about it, to reach for inspiration, number one, and to feel good about their choices, and that their children might respond well. I pray for them to be more flexible than I was. I think maybe I was rigid, and the rigidity and the routines is what kept me sane with such a large family. And I know for me, that's what I needed. But in my older age, I've learned to not be that way as much and to be a little more flexible. And I kind of wish I had done that more. That's just one of my things that I'm better at now, is being a little more flexible. And my children, my adult children, have said, yeah, we can really see that, Mom. We can see that you are learning to be more flexible, maybe trying a few new things and different ways of doing things. They are really good at teasing me, and I try and take that well, but they are really cheerleaders for me too. I would say that each of my children are some of my best friends. They have gone on to, yes, be very different than I am, but to be so phenomenal in their own way that I wish I could be more like them in many ways. My favorite thing is to get a hug from each of my children. They are my most prized treasures, and they are imperfect, and they are perfect. They are growing up still, these adults of mine, these wonderful children, and I'm still growing up too. Hope you have a great day.